Thank you for listening to this edition of the Local Lowdown podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about the World Cup, the U.S. women's national team's uh, game last evening over, win last evening, over Vietnam. We're then going to talk about the Leagues Cup, the inaugural MLS Leagues Cup, and some MLB and NFL news and notes. All of that coming your way on episode number 4 of the Local Lowdown podcast, which starts right now. Hello, welcome to episode number 4 of the Local Lowdown podcast. My name is Zach Bischoff. I am joined, as always, by
Danny Shanwalter.
I don't have your audio, so I need to make some adjustments to that real quick. It is been an interesting one over here at the Local Lowdown studio, and I need to hear you, so do that. And if there's an echo, I apologize. That's how it just has to be. So once again, I'm joined by
Take 2, Danny Shanwalter.
All right, thank you, Danny. All right, as mentioned in the open, first we are going to be talking about the U.S. Women's National Team win. I can't talk. The U.S. Women's National Team's win over Vietnam last evening by a score of 3-0. Goals, I believe, were scored by Sophia Smith. 2 goals by her, and the third goal by someone who I don't remember who it was. Danny, just your thoughts on the. As you can see, we're not very professional here. Danny, your thoughts on the U.S. Women's National Team's win over Vietnam last evening?
Yeah, absolutely, Zach. And great to be with you, man. Zach, we are definitely in a transition of eras right now in the U.S. Women's National Team picture. The young players, the next generation are really stepping up. Sophia Smith had 2 goals, as you mentioned, Zach. And just it's a team that's really filled with a lot of young talent and also a lot of a very good core group of veterans. But I believe that the stat it was something like 16 or 17 of the U.S. Women's National Team players in the FIFA Women's World Cup were making their World Cup debut against Vietnam, which is pretty cool to see that change. But Zach, I think this team has a ton of potential. Zach, obviously played against Vietnam, and credit to Vietnam. I mean, they 3-0 against the U.S. The U.S. Women's National Team is that is very respectable for a team like Vietnam. They for a team like Vietnam, they one of their goals is to score a goal in this World Cup. And it was so cool to see, even being a U.S. fan, that people, a lot of the stadium really got behind Vietnam because of just how big of an underdog they were. But yeah, Zach, as far as how the game went, I was really encouraged by Sophia Smith because I think she's kind of the rising star, if you will, Zach, and the new face. We talk about this new generation. She's really the face of that new youth movement, and also Lindsey Horan scored as well, and she had a great game. So yeah, Zach, I'm just really looking forward to see. I think the level needs to improve a little bit when we face tough competition. Because we had 28 shots, I think, and only 3 found the back in that. But overall, I was encouraged.
Yeah. So, I'm curious your thoughts on this. Star players like Megan Rapinoe, Rose Lavelle, and somebody else, I believe, were on limited minutes last evening because of the U.S.'s next match against the Netherlands, which will take place. I believe that is, what is that, a Thursday, July 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to attempt to do play-by-play of that game. We are still waiting to see if that is able to be orchestrated because my co-host over there is just so happens to be going on vacation. But we will see if we will hope to try and coordinate that and bring that to you. I believe that should be a very tough game for the U.S. as that is a rematch of the 2019 Women's World Cup final
Yeah.
where the U.S. did prevail. Then do you think the score would have been higher if the other players would have played also, given that in the previous World Cup in 19, they defeated, was it Taiwan or Thailand by a score of
Thailand, I think. Yeah.
13-0.
Yeah, Zach. That is a tremendous question, my friend. And
As always,
what I would say, yeah, you have an knack for that for sure,
I
man.
do.
What I would say though, Zach, is that I would say that from going back to 2019, from the get-go, it seemed like the U.S. is like, we are going to score a ton of goals, and they had that mentality almost. It was like a shift in mentality, and I think that Vietnam, they really kind of sat in a low block and really the U.S. didn't score. I know it was kind of early on, but it wasn't until the 13th minute that the U.S. scored. And I think that set the tone for the way the match kind of went, Zach, was because because Vietnam was able to hang, and they were only, I think the second goal was in stoppage time. So they to only be down to the U.S. 2-0 and to hold it at 1-0, that's a huge accomplishment from Vietnam. And I think it's just the reason why it wasn't higher, Zach, was Vietnam's ability to really make the U.S. work from the start.
And another question upon that: do you think that only scoring 3 goals in this game later on in the group stage, I think that will have a tremendous effect on if Team USA advances out of group play, given that they play the Netherlands. That's you're not going to score a lot of goals against them. And
Yeah.
I believe that the first tiebreaker is goal differential. So I really would have liked to see more goals. Do you think that will? I personally think that we'll have that could be the telling point of if who advances out of group letter E. Your thoughts?
Yeah. No, Zach, that's a great point, and I think that obviously if you kind of go around the what Twitter says or what social media says about the U.S. women's national team performance, everybody's saying that we had so many chances, we should have cashed more in. I don't think that 3-0 is that much of a hindrance and a missed opportunity because you did separate yourself more than, let's say, I believe England only beat Haiti 1-0, which again, credit to Haiti because that was a heck of a job to only allow England to score 1 goal. But I think that where I'm almost optimistic and more happy about is that we didn't let Vietnam score. I think that's kind of where I'm looking at it from. It's like even though we had 28 shots and we would have liked to score a little bit more, we also had held Vietnam to 0 shots and didn't let them score. But that's that'll be something to watch for sure. That's always we get to soccer fans around the world know that you get to that last day group stage and there's a lot of nail biting going on just because of goal differential and things like that, Zach.
All right, moving forward, shifting focus to the Team USA's next game against the Netherlands, which I said is this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Danny, what keys to victory for the United States against the Netherlands?
Zach, I think that our most dangerous asset and the most dangerous part of our team is in our midfield, right? It's Roosevelt, it's Lindsey Horan, it's Sophia Smith getting forward, it's Trinity Rodman getting forward. I think our biggest key is going to be, that fluidity of whoever that front three is, whoever our attackers are. Can they convert chances? Because we're not going to have as many chances as we did against Vietnam. And the Netherlands, as you said, Zach, as we mentioned at the top, they're a 2019 Women's World Cup finals. That's who we beat in order to win the World Cup. Like, the Netherlands want revenge. I mean, that is no secret. They're going to come out. They're going to come out firing, and we're not going to have as many chances as we did against Vietnam. They're gonna really, want to counter against us, Zach. So our back line of Naomi Gurman and Joy Earth, if she plays center back again, and our back line is going to have to be solid, and we're just going to have to really battle. It's not going to be an easy game for sure, Zach.
And lastly, again, your pick to win the 2023 Women's World Cup.
Zach, I think
will the U.S. do it?
What's up?
Will the United States three-peat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, I think that is. I think that the U.S. will three-peat, man, because you look at the field is deeper, than it has been. All these games have been. There haven't been any blowouts as the similar to the 13-0 win last World Cup. So countries are getting better. Women's soccer is really developing in all parts of the world, which is awesome to see. But Zach, I think what separates the U.S. women's national team is just our depth, Zach. I just think we have so many. I mean, Roosevelt and Megan Rapinoe came off the bench. I think that our depth is such a strength that we have, Zach. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I think that's another thing. I mean, like you said, I think it's 13 of the 21 players on the team are making their debuts. So I think it's a good glimpse into the next generation. But I still think we do have enough firepower to win. All right, that's enough about the World Cup. Next, we will talk about what are we going to talk about? Yes, it is the first annual Leagues Cup, a partnership between Major League Soccer and the top Mexican league, Liga MX. Now, Lionel Messi last night, one of the best players in the world, made his debut for stateside for Inter Miami, and he did score a tremendous free kick goal. We would show it to you, but copyright laws greatly discourage that. All right. But it was a tremendous goal there. I saw it on Twitter. It was all over Twitter this morning and last evening. Any get your thoughts on Messi's debut, and also what kind of spark do you think he will provide to an Inter Miami team that was at last check near the bottom of the league?
Yeah, Zach. It is, having a player like Lionel Messi can transform a team and can transform a fan base. I mean, there was not an empty seat at Inter Miami Stadium, which that had not been the case. Just a few short months ago, considering that they were bottom of the MLS. So I think Lionel Messi, him coming on made a huge impact, and it was a huge, as you said, Zach, spark in Inter Miami, just them being able to win the game. And it was almost like an ending out of the movie that Messi scored on his debut in that fashion. But Zach, I mean, you're talking about one of the best players to ever play the game. I think that's going to have a huge impact and bring a huge spark to the Inter Miami club.
Okay. And also, Lionel Messi now plays alongside former Barcelona teammate Sergio Busquets. I think that I think those two really, back in their Barcelona days, they fed off each other. So that should be it's interesting to see two teammates back together once again. Yeah, I watched I watched just about 40 minutes of the first half, and then the World Cup game came on, so I kind of had to switch over to that for purposes of this here episode. But I think, yeah, I mean, it was quite a spectacle. I mean, there was a lot of famous people there. Like LeBron James was there.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian, I believe, was there.
Uh-huh.
There was a whole bunch of people. I think LeBron James was practically sitting right next to where Messi was in the bench area. But it was quite a spectacle to see that last night. Now the League's Cup briefly is a World Cup style tournament. I believe it was 45 teams in about 15 or so groups. Top two will advance, and then once they determine a champion, they will be given spots in the, I believe it is the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Bless you. And
Thank you, Zach.
seemed like that. Thank you for not sneezing in my ear. Um, I could get I had a cough button for you, but I didn't need to use it. All right. Anyway, the champions will be given spots, and I believe it is the CONCACAF Gold Cup round of 16. So that will be something interesting to watch. I know, Danny, you have not been keeping up on that, so I will. That's all I really have to say in that regard. So now next,
Yeah.
we
It does sound like, that was the first, as you said, Zach, yeah, I think the first night of the Leagues Cup, if I'm correct in that. But I think that's a great thing with, the MLS and partnering with Liga MX. I think the more and more you can grow the game in, places like U.S. and Mexico, it's something to watch, but it's also another high stakes soccer competition, which really, I'm just excited to kind of see how that unfolds for sure, Zach.
All right, thank you, Danny. Next, we are going to be talking about briefly the NFL news and notes. The big story of the week earlier this week, the NFL owners approved the sale and firing of disgraced NFL owner Dan Snyder, who was also fined $60 million for workplace misconduct. We will not be getting into getting into any further of said allegations due to the graphic nature of them. What else? And the other thing, NFL. You had some other thoughts on NFL news and notes. Uh,
Yeah, no, for sure, Zach. Obviously, Dan Snyder, the NFL owner is going to for the sale of the $6.05
why are we
Washington Commanders,
why are we laughing about this?
which is similar to our headline. That's why I was just laughing. Which we Zach and I kind of tagged in that, which was good. But yeah, no, obviously that is a big for Commanders fans. I think getting Dan Snyder and that whole mess out of their football team is a big deal, Zach. I think that the biggest thing with the Commanders is just them being able now to kind of turn the page and being able to focus on football. I mean, they've been in the news, not just even in the sports news, but in the national news for all the wrong reasons, Zach. And then just being able now to focus on what they are, which is a football organization. That's got to be so liberating for the players, the front office that stayed, and just everybody involved with that. I think I think that was welcome news for all involved in the Commanders organization.
Yeah, and also you mentioned not only in the news, but I'm sure also in the courtroom as well.
Yeah,
due to various allegations there and various
Yeah,
lawsuits
definitely.
and various other accusers and things of that nature. All right. Now and after this, I've seen reports that off of Twitter, obviously, we love getting a lot of our stuff from Twitter. That the Commanders after this upcoming season will you didn't correct your spelling of Los Angeles. Oh, but you did, but you didn't take the old spelling out. Anyway, this needs to go to the. I need to clip this to put this in the blooper reel. We need it. That's an idea. Anyhow, yeah, I saw the report that after the season, the Commanders will change their name once again. Last year, after the first name change happened from, we all know what that name was, to the Washington Football Team, and then to the Washington Commanders, and now it is changing again. So it will be interesting to see what that name will be come season's end. All right. Anything else on news and notes before we proceed?
Oh no, we can go to the MLB for sure.
All right, then. In that case, we will go to the there it is. Major League Baseball news and notes. Let's start with the Pirates series over in Los Angeles on the West Coast. Danny's already laughing, so I will laugh. Pirates last evening lost by a score of 8-4 after hitting. Why did this show up again? Go. There you go. After hitting not one, not two, not three, but 4 home runs off of Angels two-way player Shohei Ohtani. This is the first time that Shohei Ohtani has given up 4 home runs in one game. And Henry Davis, the newly called up catcher slash right fielder, hit 2 home runs, his first multi-home run game, off of arguably one of the best players one of the best players in the league right now in Ohtani, and they still somehow managed to lose the game. Now, if that's not a Pirate thing, I don't know what is. Danny, over to you.
Yeah, no, Zach, I think you summarized, the course of events there perfectly, man. I mean, if you would have told me that we scored or we hit 4 home runs off of the best player in the league right now, and some calling the best ever, which I would be quick to, or I'm not ready to say that yet. But anyway, if you would have told me, Zach, that we hit 4 home runs off of Henry Davis, off of Shohei Ohtani, I would have said, well, then in that case, we're gonna win that game. But that game is a microcosm of the Pirates' last 6. Honestly, coming off from the All-Star break, just Zach, we just have not been consistent in any regards. I mean, it's just been obviously our pitching, has struggled these past few games. But even when our pitching has picked up and we haven't, given up 8 spots, our hitting has been non-existent. Zach, it's just right now as a Pirates fan, and I'm just super frustrated about the direction the team's going. I just don't think we're doing things right in any capacity right now.
Your thoughts on what the employment status of Pirates hitting coach Andy Haynes should be following the season?
Yeah, Zach. That has obviously been a continuous topic of discussion because the Pirates, have not really been able to. What's that?
This is a point of contention for a future guest, which we're going to bring on the show at a time to be determined. But please proceed, Danny. Danny knows what I'm talking about. And if you're listening, then thanks for listening, and we'll reach out to you soon. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Good call on that, Zach. But it's just the Pirates. I hesitate to blame one coach that's not even playing as a scapegoat for the Pirates' mishap as of late, Zach. But our just approaches have not been there, Zach. We've just been guys are in slumps that aren't usually in slumps, and I feel like every time we get guys on base, it's just we don't catch them in. We're not very good with runners in scoring position as of late, and it's just I maybe was too optimistic at the start of the Pirates season, Zach, but it's just right now it's frustrating, man, because even the young guys are coming up, and I think the young guys deserve better. Like Andy Rodriguez, Nick Gonzalez, these guys are contributing, and they deserve better than what we're doing. And it's frustrating that it's all not working, Zach.
Yeah. In my opinion, at the end of the season, Andy Haynes should be fired. Now we should have gone out and gotten now Yankees hitting coach and also a personal friend of mine, Sean Casey. I think he would, and Casey, former player of the Cincinnati Reds back in the '90s and early 2000s. I'm honored to know him personally, and he's a great guy. Um, but I think we, with New York getting him, and New York has gone through their own struggling, their own slump right now. They're, guys. I looked at my fantasy lineup today. Anthony Volpe hitting 093. I think I have John Car. Let me pull it up right now. I will. Let's see here. Let's look in this one. I took Giancarlo Stanton on my bench, but he's I don't know what he's at. Yeah, Anthony Volpe is hitting 093 as it stands right now. So it seems like the Yankees have really not been able to find it, even after a change in hitting coach. But I still think that that once Casey's there for a longer period of time, I think he will start to have an effect on the game.
Yeah, Zach. No, for sure, man. I think what hitters go through slumps, obviously, and I think that shows, Zach, is that hitting in the major leagues is hard. That's why Andy Rodriguez has struggled as of late coming to the major leagues. I think he'll, make some changes in his approach, and obviously he's here for reasons, so I think he'll eventually get it going. But hitting is hard, Zach, because you're facing major league talent every night out there, man.
Yep.
So I think, but that's what, like, it's frustrating when you feel like you're facing major league talent and then it feels like your pitching is like single A pitching, because it just, when you go down 5-0, Zach, in the first inning and you're struggling to hit, that is so demoralizing, Zach. So it's just been, obviously, last night we started out with the lead, and we credit to the Angels. They adjusted their approach against Johan Oviedo and obviously pulled away. But it's just frustrating, Zach, when it just doesn't seem. I'm not trying to be super pessimistic because I like to think that I'm a pretty optimistic guy. I think the Pirates have pieces in their farm system, and they have veterans that are contributing. But that's what's frustrating, Zach, because I think right now we have a decent team. It's just we're not putting the pieces together. That's what's frustrating, Zach.
All right, Danny, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here this evening?
No, Zach. I guess one thing that I've been wondering your thoughts on, man. Where do you think Angels ace Shohei Ohtani will end up after the trade deadline?
This is one thing. It's one thing I forgot to add to the show rundown. I am actually not sure. I think I obviously want to go to a contender. I mean, the Pirates. I've seen joke accounts with trades and all that with fake trades, but I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I don't know who. I mean, how much do you think that contract would be? That'd be a big. He hasn't had a big contract yet.
Yeah, no, Zach, that's what I'm super intrigued to see and watch from afar here. I think that, I mean, you've got to think that contract and that sum of players going to LA is going to be huge. I mean, it's got to be at least 5 or 6 major league caliber guys, because Shohei Ohtani is such an anomaly. Just being able to hit like a 300 hitter and strike out. It's just incredible what he's been able to do, Zach. I think in terms of a destination, he may end up with the San Francisco Giants. And the reason for that, Zach, is obviously, like you said, I'd love for it to be the Pirates, but obviously I don't think that's in the cards right now for Ben Sherrington and company. But I think the Giants are what the Angels are not, kind of, because they don't have a superstar-studded team, but they find ways through pitching and they find ways to win games. I mean, I believe they're like something like 10 games over 500 with not a super talented. Not a super talented star-studded group. So I think if I'm Shohei Ohtani, that's an appealing destination for me to go. I've been hearing rumors that he wants to stay on the West Coast, but so if I had to pick right now, Zach, that would be my pick. But obviously, we're not going to know until the deal gets done. So I'll be intrigued to watch that as that progresses.
And we will know when even is the trade deadline, because I think we're gonna do a trade deadline show. I kind of want to do a trade deadline show.
That would be fun. I'm not sure exactly when the trade deadline is.
Well, we will figure it out, and then if we will hopefully be able to do a trade deadline related program for you, and we'll recap all the major trades in the Major League Base in the Major League Base. I don't know. Well, we're done here. He's Danny Shambles, so I'm Zach Bischoff. And Shambles, as you should know, thank you for listening to this fourth edition of the Local Lowdown podcast. I'm Zach Bischoff. He's Danny Shamholzer, and we are signing off. Thank you very much for listening and